8 signs that someone isn't meant for you. For relationships or business associates or even just friends, people that you meet at your workplace or stuff like that. So compatibility is very important. All right. Most of the times we might meet someone in a social setting and you might have to deal with them from time to time and you feel like, okay, I'm going to keep this person around because of, the business or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you're not comfortable with that person, it's best to just do what you gotta do and move on. For instance, like meeting up at the bar for drinks afterwards or doing anything outside of that setting mightn't be really appropriate. Same for a relationship. If certain things and certain traits don't line up with your goals and your morals, maybe you should just let that thing go. So let me get into the 8 signs that someone isn't meant for you. Number 1, you can't be honest with them. And this is something I struggled with in the past, I'll admit that. You're with someone and you feel like, hey, I want to make a business move. I want to make some investments or take a risk on something, but you feel like if you tell them about your thoughts, the steps you want to do or the risk you want to take, that they won't be fully supportive of your decisions. So by default, you kind of recluse to your shell and you decide to keep that from them. That in itself is not healthy, because if you're with someone, especially for a long-term situation, you should feel comfortable with sharing and being open so you can actually, make moves together to build the future for the long term. So if you feel like, your certain opinions are, you can't bring it up because they have different opinions on something, that could be a sign that, you guys weren't meant to be. So in essence, the honesty part, it boils down to keeping secrets too. It leads to that gray area where you can't be honest, so you're holding secrets back, so now you're lying. So the rabbit hole keeps getting deeper and deeper, and next thing you know, eventually it's going to lead to a dead end. Sign number 2, you're on and off again. I'm sure most of us probably experienced this in our past, or we know of someone who went through this. They have their boyfriend or whatever, or their girlfriend, and they broke up this week, and then next week they're back together, and you're like, hey, she hated him so much last week, and now they're back together. Basically, it's a toxic cycle. That's the way I would describe it. It's a dysfunctional pattern, and it's because the compatibility between the two persons is not there. So they're like stuck in this endless cycle of, okay, I love you today, I don't love you today, oh, I love you tomorrow, and it's back and forth. That's why there's an old saying: when you see a couple fighting, don't get in the middle of that, because you're gonna get in the middle of that and try to be a hero. Next thing you know, the girl is back with a guy, or even worse, the girl is beating you or hitting on you for trying to save her from being beaten on by her boyfriend. I've seen it several times personally, so it's an old saying, hey, let the couples sort it out, because by next week you're going to be the enemy and they're going to be back together. All right. This also could lead to the risk of being cheated on, because take this for what it is, guys. Most of the times when you're on and off again, in that off time, most people don't consider themselves to be with you, so they would sleep around or the neighbor who they were checking out, they're gonna hook up with the neighbor, because at that point you weren't technically together. So it's like a hall pass kind of thing. Or even worst case, some ladies or guys will break up with you just to do that, and then get back to you and like, oh, that didn't mean anything. So keep that in mind too. Sign number 3, no shared interest. Yeah, this is a big one, because part of being in a relationship, you need to share things together. You need to like similar things. That's part of making it enjoyable to be around each other. If we play golf, if she's into golf too, it's going to be awesome, because you could go down to the golf course and hit some hole-in-ones if you're like Tiger Woods or something. But you need to have some shared interests. It's very, very important. So if you have no mutual hobbies, it might be kind of rough. This could even like be aligned with different personalities. In my instance, I'm a pretty calm guy. I'm pretty laid back and chill. And if I'm with a girl that's loud and obnoxious, the range of personalities, it mightn't be a good thing, because I'll be like chilling while she's there like yelling and screaming, and it's just not a good scenario to be in. In my opinion, you need to have shared interests in general to have a balanced relationship. Sign number 4, you have different social circles, and trust me, I've been there too. I remember I had a girlfriend, one of my exes, and I didn't like her friends at all, and she didn't like my friends either. So sometimes where we might hang out together and her friends would be there, I'll be in a type of way, a type of mood. And same thing, if my friends were around, she would be a type of way, whatever. And it got so bad to the point of, let's say we had to go out somewhere, she would go with her friends and I wouldn't go. I was like, you know what, you go have fun with your friends, and me and my friends would go somewhere else to another party or whatever it was, just so I wouldn't have to deal with them, because I didn't like them. And it just wasn't a good fit. So you need to have the same social circles to a point. That would be ideal. It's almost like living separate lives, basically, because you're off doing your own thing while she's off doing her own thing, and with that separation, it could lead to infidelity. Someone's going to cheat, someone's going to do some dumb crap, make out with a guy, make out with a girl. It just leaves so much room for stuff to happen that you don't want to happen. So social circles are very important. If you can't if you're not sharing that, that might be a sign that you're not meant to be together. Number 5, you want different things in life, whether this be long term or short term. For example, some couples, one of them might want to rent for a long time in an apartment, while the other one wants to actually, get a house, get a mortgage. One party might want to travel the world. The other one might be like, you know what, I want to stay in my country and go to the neighboring town or state or province or wherever you're from. Basically, you're at different points in your life. You ever heard the saying that, you're the right person but the wrong time? It's true. You meet people in your life at a time where you might be more reserved and they might be more outgoing, or vice versa. Number 6, your relationship is not your priority. Big one here, guys. If you're in a relationship with someone and you're not their priority, why are you in a relationship with them? It's kind of like, I might as well keep you as a friend, or better we just be friends. For instance, a friend of mine, she was on the freeway. This happened about a month ago, and she put up on her stories, "Hey, I'm stuck on the freeway," and I'm like, "Do you need help? What's up with you?" And she has a boyfriend, and she's like, "Well, he's at work. He can't leave work to come get me on the freeway." And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, once I am within reach of you and you're my girl, I'm taking time off of my job and coming to get you on the freeway. I'm not gonna like leave you stranded there. So it's all about priorities, you know. If something's that important to you, you're gonna make time and room for it. Another example of this in terms of let's say someone has kids. Chances are, if you're coming into a situation with a single parent, whether it be a single mom or a single dad, you can't expect to be the number one priority because there's a kid in between you and them. And it might be even worse. They might have a few kids, a pet, the job, and then you. So you might be 4th or 5th place. So off rip, if you get into a situation with someone who is in that type of situation, just know if you're not the number one priority, yeah, you might be a good fit for each other unless you're comfortable being 3rd or 4th place in line. Number 7, you don't satisfy each other's needs. In terms of you need to make your partner feel like they belong in your life. It's like pieces of a puzzle. You need to be able to fit perfectly together and connect on levels in terms of emotional stability, in terms of sexual chemistry and stuff like that. If it feels forced or unnatural, that might be a high sign that you guys are not meant to be with each other. You might like each other's company to some level, but in terms of satisfying each other's needs, you just don't get it done. Some people might believe in love languages. If that's you, kudos to you. That's not really my forte, but you know, you have to be able to cater to each other's needs and satisfy each other's needs to be able to have a comfortable relationship and just be into each other. You know what I mean? And lastly, sign number 8, you have a lot of doubts. This is what I would say a vibe. You know, your gut feelings. You have a lot of anxiety when it comes to this person. Something in your gut is telling you, hey, I just don't feel like myself when I'm with this person. Or you feel like if you're going to meet them out on a date, or you're coming over to their place, or they're coming over to your place, you always get a feeling like, hey, like something's off. Like I just don't feel like they are for me. Like something's in your spirit, you know, and you're like, oh, okay, well, you know what, we've been dating for a while, and mind you, you could be in the beginning like all for this person, but then as time progresses, that feeling fades. Some people call it the butterflies, which could naturally fade with time, but it kind of boils down to the two individuals to keep bouncing off each other, to keep things interesting, so that way you could prolong the butterflies as long as possible. And you need to be genuinely involved in this person's life, as you could refer back to the steps from before. So it all ties together, guys. So these are 8 signs that someone isn't meant for you. I could add a few more to this list, but this video might get too long. So hopefully you enjoyed these 8 signs, and tune in for the next video. I'm going to try and drop a new video every week. If you guys like this content, feel free to like the video, subscribe, leave me a comment saying you're a new subscriber, and I'll try my best to reply to your comment and say hi to you. So thank you for watching, young kings and queens. This is your boy Mackenzie. Later.
Bitch, don't get too comfortable. Better not get too comfortable. Bitch, don't get too comfortable.